Get out while you can. This is something that I've been saying since the beginning of this channel. That is why this channel was created, to make you, normal American, understand that you're safe to leave this country. It's fine. In fact, it's far better to live somewhere outside of the United States. But still, you gotta say, well, I'm gonna stay here and change the country. You gotta stay and fight. You're a coward. Pursuing health, happiness, and freedom in a country outside the one where that's quickly going away is an act of cowardice. Personal responsibility and action can only go so far. We are just small individual people, one among 330 million people, 330 million different people with differing beliefs and differing goals. And you have to find your way to your goals, no matter where they are, no matter if it's in this country or it's outside this country. But in this video, I want to explore that a bit. The personal responsibility. Should we feel guilty about leaving our country? Should we? To pursue happiness, to pursue life in another place, absent the madness of this country, absent the madness of the people and the politics in America, should we feel guilty about that? Should we feel bad? Should we feel a duty to stay here and kind of weather the storm? That's how simple it sounds, right? Like there's going to be a conflict, and then all of a sudden, by this time next year, America will be on the right course again. But that's not how it is. If you know enough about society, if you know enough about politics, and economics, and history, you know that the course for America is set. And it's not a course that is easily turned. And the amount of people that actually want change in this country are so minuscule, because the American people will suffer to the very end as long as they can maintain the illusion of lifestyle that no change will happen. No change. This isn't doom. This is about finding hope, finding peace, finding a place for yourself and your family that offers something better than what we have here in America. And you can say, well, millions of people every year want to come to America. And yeah, you're right, because we have money here. We do. And the money that we have here means something in other countries still at this moment. And that won't always be the case. But for many of us who are from here, who still have the ability to make American money outside of America, I'd say, you know what? Take the leap. And if people call you a coward, fuck them.
I'm leaving the United States and moving abroad to another country, and I get a lot of people telling me that I'm a coward, or I should stay here and fight for what's right in America. And I think this take is so, well, A, terminally online, and B, just stupid, because...
You know, anytime I tell people that, I met my wife when I was living in Greece. She's from Turkey. She was working in Athens. And we want to go back. We want to take our kid back. You know, education's better in Europe. You know, in reality, that's never met with the accusation of cowardice. You know why? Because normal people who don't live their lives online are fucking normally pretty rational and sane, and understand that this country is a shit show, and that if you can get out, you should.
Because it is not my responsibility alone, okay? People saying that I need to stay and change things. What do you mean? I have a vote, a singular vote, okay? It is not like me staying here is going to change anything. By the way, I have that same vote moving abroad, so I can still vote by mail. That is still very much a thing. And also, at the end of the day, it's my life. I'm allowed to move and live where I want to. If I can legally immigrate to Portugal, so be it.
First off, don't go to Portugal. Everyone's going to Portugal. Portugal is just going to become little America at this point. Everyone's plans to go to Portugal. Right? Portugal is great. I have family who came from Portugal. You don't know me, but my last name is actually Portuguese. Very popular in Brazil, actually. Do I look like it? No. This big snow monkey, this Northern European blood, strong. But really, it comes down to that. This isn't a doom episode, ladies and gentlemen. It is not. You got one life. You got one. And you got to be happy. The constant string of bullshit and nonsense that we have to deal with in this country is just harmful for the soul. Don't you want something better? I mean, when I ask myself that, the answer is yes. I want something better. I'll tell you what, it's out there. And it's not expensive. People are like, well, you know, we have everything you need here in America. What? Sonics? A McDonald's on every block? Places that you can't go to on foot? You know, every beautiful aspect of this country has been monetized and has a price tag on it. You can't even go to a national park without being charged. You okay? Hello. The abolition of third spaces in America was done on purpose to segment us and make us lonely and feel like we are alone and feel like there is no way out. The goal is to have the American feel trapped because you are. But you don't have to be. Americans are trapped by choice, but they have choice. And there was a time where this is it, right? America was pretty much the only place that you can have real opportunity. Our money was worth so much. There's so much fucking opportunity in this country. You could sneeze and life is gonna be good, but that is not the world we live in now. The world we live in, the nation we live in is different. And you can't make the dollar worth more. Not when it's been watered down so much. You can't make home prices what they need to be for most Americans to actually be able to own a home. You can't have the social network and friend groups that you need to survive as a social animal in a place where people are too busy working because things have gotten so expensive that they don't have time to socialize. This isn't a good country for anybody. The culture here is shot. You have the ability, you have the ability to find a better place. And there's opportunity out there. They're like, well, you can't just go somewhere. Get a work visa. Get it. You can get it. Why not? Even if you don't want, listen, if you want to still make American money, guess what? There's US bases all over the world. Find a job on one, right? USA jobs. Be a janitor. Whatever. Does it really matter as long as you're in a place where you're happy? Does it matter what you're doing? Like I've said, I'd rather make $50,000 a year in Europe than $100,000 a year in America. I make $100,000 a year here. And my life was far better making $50,000 a year in Europe. I have all the things that you should need for the American dream to be there. I have a house. I have a wife, a kid. I have this inbred dog. I have not just one, but 2 cars, one of which is paid off. And this one, I really want to get rid of. But that's not the point. I still find America to be a deeply unhappy place, even though I have the things that should make life happy. And that's because you're not meant to be happy here. You're meant to chase dopamine. You're meant to chase a deal. You're meant to spend money. You're meant to just keep hoarding and collecting assets and objects to fill a hole that just, we don't know how to feel that. We don't know what that hole came from. That hole is community. That hole is a healthy society. And that's something that Americans don't know. And it breaks my heart to see so many people so in love with a country that gives nothing to them. And it bothers me to see people defend it to the point that they do. That say, I'm still willing to give my life for this. Listen, I served in the Marine Corps. I'm all about it, right? I'm all about defending the country that's yours. But this country isn't ours. And that's what you need to realize. This shit isn't worth defending anymore because it's not for us. Each year that goes by, the purchasing power of your dollar goes down. Each year that goes by, the price of housing gets so unaffordable that people have to choose between rent and which bill they can pay, or what food they can have on the table. It's not about minimalizing your life to the point where you're just eating rice and beans, but hey, you can afford rent. That's not happiness. And beyond that, there's no place for us to just exist and be around other people. With the mall, the only places that Americans can actually congregate at and be social at are centers of consumerism. Do away with that. Go somewhere else because it doesn't have to be like that. In other countries, beauty, amazing architecture, history is accessible to everybody. You know what it's like just to get off the metro, you get out and there's cafes everywhere, there's buildings that are hundreds of years old. You're walking on history. You know what that feels like? You know what it's like to come back to America and see people congregate at Starbucks and that's it? It's sad. Life in America is sad. And I will beat this bush until the day that I die, or until shit here changes and people actually wake up and do what's necessary to fix this fucking place, because it's a monkey house. That's all it is. And the zookeepers are bleeding us dry. Go somewhere else. Get back to it.
That's what I'm choosing to do, and I don't need to answer to any nameless, faceless people on this app telling me that I need to stay here because it's like the noble thing to do. People have been moving around the world for ever, for thousands of years. You know, there is no reason to say that you're fighting a good fight by staying in a place you're not happy in. I don't know, something I wanted to touch on.
I like Zach abroad. He seems like a nice kid. And I guess he's from Florida too, and this place is fucking expensive. But beyond that, just because you leave doesn't mean that you're not pursuing change in your own country. You can still vote for it, if that even matters at this point. But the biggest thing in America, if you actually want to take a gut punch to it, is to affect the economy, right? Affect where the money goes. Affect the bottom lines of the corporations who actually run this shit show. That's how you actually affect them. That's why I say, you know, America's getting to the point where we're really going to hurt ourselves, because we're going to push the talent of the youngest generation out of this country. You're like, well, there's more. Where's there more opportunity at? Literally anywhere. Go to Europe, there's opportunity. Go to Asia, there's opportunity. Learn Chinese. The BRICS nations are going to fucking wipe the floor with G7 in a generation. That's reality. The era of America being the hegemon of the world is over. We have the military right now. Yeah, we do. But we don't have the culture. We don't have the economic opportunity. You have economic opportunity for corporations and for people who were born into it, but you don't have it for the normal American person. You just don't. You have enough opportunity to survive. That's it.
Oh, I'll absolutely fight, but I won't stay. There's one thing and one thing only that the US understands intimately and unequivocally, and that is money. So, I plan to withdraw my money. So how do I do that? Liquidate all my assets, remove them completely from the American system, limit my taxes paid to essentially nothing, then have all my normal expenses go into an economy that is outside of the US. That means I'll continue to suck money out of the system and spend it elsewhere. No, they won't like that. No country does. But the more of us do it, the more they feel the pain. The more the economy suffers suffocation. That's the plan. See, I'm no activist. I don't own pew-pews. I have no plans of fighting law enforcement or the government physically. But I'm pretty good with this, because boycotts work. Boycotting companies specifically. But in my mind, a boycott of a nation is more powerful, especially when I can continue to vote in elections if we ever have them again. So everyone will have to decide how they're gonna fight. But if I'm honest, I don't see a whole lot of people fighting. Because let's be honest, protests don't work. Now if we're talking walkouts, blocking roads, disrupting business and the economy, that's a way to fight. I don't see that yet. Maybe the stay and fight crowd will get there. Maybe not, but I don't plan to be here to find out. Hope it helps.
And he's absolutely right. You take your money somewhere else. Take your labor somewhere else if you really want to affect the system. Because without labor, the system grinds to a halt. I mean, they can try to reduce jobs as much as they want. And that's just another thing in general. Like I said, it all comes down to opportunity. And you can live a happier life with just as much opportunity somewhere else. You just have to find it. But it's out there. It's out there everywhere. There's countless stories of people who've left this country and migrated to other countries and live awesome, fulfilling lives. In fact, go through the comment section on this one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're still here watching, put it down in the comment section if you've left America and you're living somewhere else, how you actually feel about it. Because in general, when I get people commenting on this, telling me their story, they love it. They have no regrets. It doesn't matter what age they are. And it's simply not just because opportunity, not because of finances, just because life is better. Because like I said, you don't have this madness. And the stay and fight crowd are fooling themselves because we're just not there yet, like I said. And I don't know if we're ever going to get there. And I'm someone who knows violence. I understand. I grew up in poverty. I grew up in violence. I've had an incredibly violent life until I was about 30 years old. It's not something that anybody wants. right? It's not something that you want your family raised in. It's not the world that you want to live in. And if you grow up in that world, there's a kind of trauma that you carry that you're not even aware of, that makes you paranoid, that makes you not trust other people, that makes you not search out social bonds and social interaction. That's why Americans are so comfortable with the fact that they can't walk anywhere. They have to drive everywhere. You know, when you go to a restaurant, you're there for 15, 20 minutes, just get your food, shovel it down in your mouth, and then leave. This isn't a happy place. It's not a happy place. And there's better places out there. So no, me and my family, listen, I'm so happy to be out of this country next week. It's going to be lovely. Temporary, yeah. You got to come back. It's a real tragedy. But I get to spend 6 months a year for the next 3 years outside of this hellhole. And by God, I'm going to enjoy every goddamn minute of it. If you have the opportunity or ability or just the will to get out of this place, do it. If people want to call you a coward, ask them what they're doing about it. More than just posting online, more than just dragging people down. You have one life, live it to the best ability that you can. It's about the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of opportunity, the pursuit of freedom. And for most people, you will find that outside of the United States. And if you really want to protest, if you really want to fight, then you fight in a different way. Because you're not going to fight the American military. Just stop that right now. That's not how this works. Disrupting commerce, yes, that works. Blocking roads, interrupting supply chain, that hurts. But that also hurts the American people too. So the question is that even the answer? Because we end up hurting our countrymen as well. All this stuff is very complicated. It's not as simple as saying, you know, you just got to stand your ground, right? Get out there. I'm not going to have some 450-pound dude who hasn't worked a job in 4 years, who spends all his time living on the internet as a tough guy, tell me about what being a man is or telling me about what being tough is. Listen, dude, you couldn't walk in my shoes. You wouldn't survive my upbringing. You just fucking wouldn't. Dude, I'm a hood rat. But anyway, besides the point, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still here at this point, like and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Think about becoming a member. Give a donation to the channel. Next week, I'll be in sunny Mexico. God, I cannot wait. It's going to be great. But we love you guys as always. For all those who've been giving donations to the channel and for all our members and all our friends over in Discord, love you guys. Logan loves you guys. Logan, come say hi. Come. Logan says hi. He loves you and appreciates you. We appreciate you on this channel. We really do. And I love engaging with you guys. I do. But that's all we got for today. Enjoy the Sunday and get out there. Enjoy some sun. Love you guys. Bye.